Hi there and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to introduce you to this little guy. This, if you can read it, is the TourBox Elite Plus. Now the first thing you're going to notice is, wow, there are so many knobs and dials and buttons and scrolls and all sorts of things. But I will guide you through some of the confusion. So what is the TourBox? Well, it's an editing controller. You can customize all the buttons, the dials, make your own shortcuts. It's designed for creatives and photographers, digital artists, portrait retouchers, and you can use it for different programs. So Lightroom, Photoshop, DaVinci, lots of other things that you can use it for. It looks a little bit confusing on the surface, and when I first opened it, I went, wow, that's an awful lot of buttons and dials and things. But you can customize them all. So the first thing you're going to notice with the TourBox Pro is that there are a lot of dials and knobs and buttons. There's a lot to set up on this, and I'm going to go through how to set some of this up. But first, let's install the software, and then we're going to get this set up to connect to your computer via Bluetooth, and that is the super easy part. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need to do is go to tourboxtech.com. I'm on the Australian website, but go to wherever you need to go, and if you click on downloads, you can go straight to the software. Now there's all sorts of bits and pieces, information and things like that, so you can check that out, but for now let's just go to the software. You will need to go and download either the Windows or the Mac version and set that up on your computer. Just follow the prompts. It's super easy to set up. Just ended up in my downloads folder as a zip file, so unzip it and then just install it. Once you do that, then all you have to do is go and set the Bluetooth up. Now you can download the manual or just use the manual that came with it. What you'll need to do is, and it says, go and install the TourBox console app, so go install that. Easy as. The next thing you need to do is either connect it to computer via the cable provided or using Bluetooth, and that is super easy to do. It even tells you to just go and pull that tag out, turn the Bluetooth on. Okay, so on the bottom of the TourBox, you have got this little battery compartment, and you'll probably see a plastic tab in there. So you will need to pull that out to get the batteries working. I found that I didn't need to charge or anything like that. Now there's also an on-off switch, so you just slide that to on. So it's red for off, green for on, pretty obvious. And then to get your Bluetooth going, click on here until the orange light is flashing on the front, and now you're set to pair up your Bluetooth, and that's as easy as it gets. On the TourBox app, so you open that and you can come in and you can connect via cable or connect via Bluetooth. So I'm just going to turn the device on, and because I've already paired it, it's come straight up. And this is where it now gets a little bit difficult to play with. And when I say difficult, it just means there are so many options to play with. But let's break it down and just make it super easy to go with. Now you've got lots of dials, knobs, buttons that you can use, and you set up per program. It already comes loaded with Photoshop, Lightroom Classic, Lightroom, I'm assuming mobile, Premiere Editing, and Capture One, etc. So there's lots in there. You can also add your own, and I might do a separate video on that because I'm still working my way through that. But I have set up for Lightroom. So what you need to do is you need to set up predominantly this little hub here, and then you've got all the buttons that goes with it. So my top knob, which is the one that you twist and turn, I've got that to go to previous photo and next photo, pretty easy. The scroll, I have got to zoom in, zoom out, pretty easy. The dial, I have got mouse scroll, so it doesn't matter whether I go forwards or backwards. And then you have the button on the side, which I've got control. The top one I've got shift. Now this one I've got set to open and close the little table that tells you where everything is, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then you've got your short buttons. So you go through and you set them up for what you want. Now, I have got a develop module set up. I have got the library model set up. So when you're in Lightroom Classic, you have your library and your develop module. So you can set it up for each mode, if that makes sense. So I've got my basic settings that I had set up, but then when I'm in the develop mode, I also have other things. So I'm going to go down. So I've got previous slide, next slide, scroll. That's still the same. Dial is still the same. I can press the button as well as rotate it. So then I have my various different setups. So I can turn my panel on and off with the little eyeball here, and I can go down and it reminds you what you've programmed all your buttons to do. And it's really easy to program a button. So you can come in here and you click on X, and that short button to the side is not there. So what I'm going to do is click that to come in here, and I want to set that to the Alt button. So I will press Alt and press OK, and then that has set that button there to be my Alt button. So that's pretty easy so far, right? From there, I have got this panel set up. Okay, so we're in Lightroom, and if I press on my top button, okay, so I've pressed the white balance, which is at the top. I'm hoping you can see that on the little thing, and I can scroll that up or down, and so that's using the knob to go higher or lower, or the little scroll wheel to jump between them. If I want to go to the presence panel or the tone panel, I will hit the corresponding button there. So I'm going to press tone, and then all my tones come up here. So I've got my exposure, I can scroll down between them all, I can go up and down. So you're using the main knob to go more or less, and you're using the scroll to change between them. If I want to go to the presence panel, I've got texture, clarity, etc., and color mixer there as well. Now, if I press one of the other buttons, so for instance on the side of the panel, and press the top, you can then come into your shadows, you can come into lens correction, you can come into effects, transform. If I press another button, I can come through. So you can program sort of like macros. So you can do one button that does something, but if you press something else, it does something else. Does that make sense? So you've got different combinations that you can press. So you can press the different kit sections that you go through. So you can have the side button and the scroll, the top button and your hub. You can have all of them. So, and this is where, like I said, it gets a little bit muddy, and you think, probably thinking, oh my gosh, how do I even know where to start? Just pick one program and just plug in the sliders that you use the most. That is probably the easiest way that I could think of to set it up. And again, in Photoshop, you can set up your different sections for something else. So this particular button here, which is the tour button, I haven't got set. So I've got my healing tools, my stamp tools, brush tools, undo. You can move them around and you can get them to set up exactly how you want. So if you want Shift, Control, Space, you go through and set them up as you need them, and then you will build up a base as you go, if that makes sense. So that's the toolbox, and I'm slowly working my way through. Like I said, I've got stuff set up for Lightroom and for Photoshop. I'm currently trying to create my own presets and macros for a video editing software that I use that isn't pre-installed. And they did tell me they've got a lot of programs installed, but they can't do everything. So they have allowed you to go in and create all your own presets as you wish. Now, I'm not going to lie, there is a learning curve on this product, but I can see why people have loved it so much for the last few years. And I'm kind of glad I've got my hands on one, because now I can start playing with it. The biggest thing, I think, is fighting muscle memory. If you're so used to grabbing the keyboard, grabbing the mouse, having the toolbox replace pretty much everything, it seems to be counterintuitive to start with, because you've got it there and you've got to try and remember what buttons do what. But having the little pop-up menu, that's a major advantage. So if you can't remember what button you had what, you can bring that up. You go, oh yeah, escape's here, or control save is this button, or whatever. But the best way to learn how to use it is to jump in deep into some editing. And I did that with Lightroom to start with. I had a whole shoot that I wanted to set up. So I just started setting up, right, I need this in develop module. I need this in tone curve. I need to set up my white balance, or I need to set up my color mixer, and set it up one bit at a time. And yes, it did make it for a little bit longer editing time to set it up. But once I started using it for image after image after image, it actually started to click in and become sort of a repetitive muscle motion that I was relearning. I still find myself going for the mouse. I still find myself going for the keyboard. But I did find, especially in Lightroom in particular, that it was just easier to grab the toolbox and go through all those things. Now you can set it up to do macros and multiple things, especially like in Photoshop. If you want to do, Control Save, or if you want to do a stamp merge, so Control Alt Shift and E, you can set all that up on one button. So it can be a real time saver. But it does need a little bit of commitment to start with to get used to using it. I think there is some real potential long-term value in this product. It's just a matter of sticking with it, getting used to it, and using it all the time. So that's it from me for today. I will put the link below for the product, and of course I've also done a written review, so I'll put that below as well. If you've got any questions or comments, don't forget to put them in the link below, and I will see you next time on YouTube. Bye.